You keep getting so close, but the crown seems to keep slipping through your fingers. They keep calling your name for first runner-up, first runner-up, first runner-up again. Is this actually something wrong with your performance, or is it simply just not God's timing? Today, we're going to talk all about that. So first and foremost, I want to start this episode by saying that most people have felt the sensation of not being called as the winner sometime in their lifetime. Heck, even I've experienced it one time when I was, I think, 15 or 16 years old and I competed in NAM. I got first runner-up to somebody that went on to actually win our state, certainly, but then won nationals as well. And I remember I was so disappointed at the time because I had previously beat this person in a pageant, and then they went and beat me in a pageant. And I was so devastated because, as you guys know that we talk a lot about here on the podcast, is that if your accomplishments are wrapped up in your identity and your identity is wrapped up in your accomplishments, it's going to be devastating when you don't accomplish something because your identity doesn't know how to handle that failure. And so, just as a little bit of a reality check, I want to encourage you guys that even the most successful people that you are most likely comparing yourself to will have failure and have had failure at some point in their life. And just because you've had failure doesn't mean that you're a failure in any capacity whatsoever. In fact, if anything, especially for those of you guys who have maybe gotten first runner-up several times or been in the top 5 court several times, I believe that it makes you more brave than the individual that just goes and wins everything all the time, which that's really a farce. Again, don't compare yourself to me either. Like, even though I won both of my state titles in Miss America and Miss USA organizations on my first try, like, I've still lost pageants before. I still lost Miss America and Miss USA. You know what I mean? So don't allow the enemy to fix your mind on the closed door that's behind you, but the open doors that are still in the present and still yet to come. Because God is outside of time, and as he's writing your story and he's already written your story, understand that what's meant for you is meant for you. And specifically what I mean with this part too, because that can be something where people use that to not actually try their hardest. But I don't believe that's you today. A lot of you guys that listen to the podcast are super high achievers, are trying really hard, are investing in coaching, doing all the right things. And sometimes it still feels like a door is slammed in your face. And that can be really difficult because then at the end of the day, you have to let go and let God. And it can be frustrating because you're at this place where you're like, okay, those thoughts are coming. Am I broken? Is there something wrong with me? Is there a place for me here? Is this ever going to work for me? And as I've talked about in other episodes, sometimes I actually encourage people to move to a different state. Sometimes I encourage people to move to a different system. I just did an episode on that, I want to say a couple months ago, back in, I think, December of 2024-ish, around there, maybe January of this year. Sometimes I do actually encourage people to switch it up because unfortunately there is bias in some pageants, and sometimes it's not meant for you, right? Even if you felt like you had a really clear vision. And if you're in the wrong organization, it can take you on an emotional roller coaster that just isn't worth it. And it can lead to massive frustration, disappointment, and self-doubt that can creep in after nearly a win multiple times, time after time. And I want to encourage you guys, though, that on the flip side of that coin, I'm actually reading this incredible book right now that I'm going to be teaching out of for Mastermind coming up. And it talks about the power of vision and the power of focus. And it goes through studying all these incredible people, Albert Einstein and Ford and Andrew Carnegie and all these amazing people who had incredible inventions in the early 1900s, late 1800s. And it talked about, hilariously, how we know all these people for their successes, but this book focused on the amount of focus and insane desire that each of these people had to be able to fail as many times as they did before they actually succeeded. And if they would have given up even one time before the amount of times that it took to get to the finish line, if they would have given up right before it's darkest, right before dawn, right? If they would have given up at the midnight, the worst of emotions, the worst of the time, Albert Einstein, 9,999 times of not creating electricity, then who knows how many years it would have been until that invention was actually invented. I think about the 4-minute mile and how long it took for when people thought, oh, that's impossible. Oh, that's impossible. Oh, that's impossible. Oh, that's impossible. And then finally, somebody actually broke the 4-minute mile. See, it took nearly 9 years from the time the 3:59.4 mark was first considered possible for an athlete to actually achieve it. For decades, breaking the 4-minute mile was thought to be impossible, both physically and mentally. Many experts even believe the human body wasn't capable of running that fast. Yeah, okay, this is crazy. 1945, the mile record stood at 4 minutes and 1.4 seconds by Gunnar Haug from Sweden. 1940s and 50s, runners kept getting close but couldn't break 4 minutes. And then May 6, 1954, Roger Bannister from the UK finally ran a 3-minute, 59-second, 0.4 mile at Oxford, proving it was possible. And then, just 46 days later, John Landy from Australia broke it again, running a 3:57.9. Once the psychological barrier was broken, dozens of runners followed in the next few years. Today, the world record stands at 3 minutes, 43.13 seconds by Hicham El Guerreiros, 1999. Okay? So the real barrier was not actually a physical capability. It was actually the mind. And I say this all the time, but like once you can move your mind, you can move your body. And sometimes it takes moving your body to move your mind. But wherever you might feel a stronghold, and what the word stronghold means is literally like you've built a monument, a mountain where there's supposed to just be a fleeting pop-up shop. And you've made it into a mountain, right? You've made it into a permanent thing. So I really want to help unearth that for you guys today and really encourage you guys to not build a belief around something that's supposed to be a passing thought. And so I want to encourage you guys to shift that belief from can I, is this possible, to I will and how will I. Does that make sense? So not can I, but or will I, but I will and how will I. And this will really help you. And here's the other thing too, like there are so many examples in regular people's lives, in biblical lives of divine delay. And having coached for 10 years now, I've been really blessed to be able to see people step into success at their proper time and what it does to catapult everything around them, but also what it does just to make sense. And they were devastated every single time that they thought it was their time and then it wasn't. And there are different ends of the spectrum. Again, you have the people that think it's their time that aren't actually doing anything. No, like it's not your time, boo, and you didn't actually do the work. So you can cry about it, but you didn't do the work. Then there's this group of people that did the work. They've done the work in every way that they know how. They've hired every coach that they know how, and it still wasn't their time. And I'm not prophesying this, but I'm planting the seed in case this is you. If it ends up not being your time this year, if you get really close, and I'm talking even at the state level, whatever, almost always it is the year after that, the year after you really went all in and you really thought it was your time, that it ends up being your time, and it all makes sense. And you'll be so grateful that it happened that way. So if you're feeling delay, if you're feeling like strife, if you're feeling the cards just aren't lining up, keep trying, do everything that's in your control, and then understand that if God will not let this vision relent in your heart, and let's just take Miss America, for example. Your body's in check. Your communication skills rock. Your CSI is there. Your on-stage questions rocking. You have a great look. You are aesthetically beautiful. You're beautiful on the inside. Like your talent rocks. Like you're doing the things objectively, okay? This is not for those, again, I don't mean this offensively. I'm just giving it to you real like always. I'm not saying this of you have a really great heart, you have really great intentions, but you're still 50 pounds overweight. You have no idea how to do your hair and makeup. You're buying everything off the cheapo end because you refuse to fundraise because you're afraid to get rejected. And we've still got some work to do. I love you. You have equal value to everyone competing. You have equal value, but you're not going to win, and you cannot tell me that you've done everything to make it happen. There are people working harder than you. No, I'm not saying everybody starts on an even playing field. No, I'm not saying it's fair, but the judges don't hear your backstory of how everybody got to this place. They want to know, what have you done to get to where you are now, and where are you going to take this, frankly. So that is not an example of, oh, it's just not my time. It's no, you actually didn't do what it takes. Like, you did not deserve to be in the top 10. So you didn't. And that's okay, because next year could be another at bat to do it. So we have to get real with these things. But who I'm really talking to today is that person that no one, maybe including me, can even figure out why you're not winning. And you have to chalk it up to some kind of timing. And whether that's like you actually win the 4th local, the 5th local that you try rather than the 1st local, I promise you, things happen for a reason. They really do. And you'll be so glad that you didn't get what you think that you wanted when God brings this thing full circle. And it happens in relationships so often. It happens in jobs so often. It happens when we move locations, when we pick a college that we go to. Why would it also not be true for pageants? I promise you, God's got your back. God's not left you when it's come to this. Okay, so a little bit of a reframe. You are not losing, and you're not a loser. You are being prepared. Okay, life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And the difference between winners and almost winners is the ability to keep going even when you don't want to keep going. Yeah, I'm reading this book, it's blowing my mind. And that's even what it talks about. The difference between people who win at a even billionaire level and a millionaire level is the power of focus. And do you think that people that are living as billionaires, right? Like Amazon, Jeff Bezos, his company was worth like negative millions of dollars. He was millions of dollars in debt. He owed everybody money. Elon Musk owed everybody money, slept on the floor of SpaceX, Tesla, right? Like, people have no idea what it actually takes to carry a billion-dollar vision. Like, you have to be borderline certifiably insane. And when you take big swings, it's like big risk, big reward. People have heard that, but they don't like the risk part. They don't like the uncomfortable part. They don't like the sacrifice part. They don't like the, oh, it's going to suck before it doesn't suck, right? Nobody likes dieting for a pageant. It sucks. It sucks saying no to the cake at your friend's birthday. It sucks going to bed early. It sucks saying no to the fun drink of alcohol at your friend's party if you're over 21, because you're on mission. You're focused. You have a job to do, right? So I want to encourage you guys to stay focused on that vision. And then number 2, don't make decisions from a depleted state. They say hungry, angry, lonely, tired. I want to encourage you guys to read your Bible, go listen to a podcast, go for a walk, go power pose in the mirror, go visualize, affirm to yourself, visualize that crowning moment, that crown in your head, then make a decision from there. And if you still don't want it, then quit. But chances are you don't. And I want you guys to make sure that you are re-empowering yourself to get back to that place of excitement, rather than also just compete, and not building your energy and your confidence and your identity back up. Because if you're just re-competing from the despair of the last pageant, or the memories of the last pageant, the mental rehearsal of the last pageant, that cannot be good, because you can't outperform your identity, right? So winners don't wait to win. They become winners in advance, and they show up as winners, and then they go win. Okay. Now, can you be a winner and get first runner-up? Yes. Especially at the local level, you guys. Sometimes things be loco. Okay. Especially if you got some ratchet pageant that's like in a high school gym or a church, or churches can be actually great. But I'm talking like the basement of some random place where you have more space to walk in your gym than in this place they're having the pageant. You know what I'm saying? So winners have short-term memories of the past, and they're collecting data, and it's actually called synthetic imagination versus creative imagination. Synthetic imagination is, let's say you have 100 parts and pieces. You have 100 puzzle pieces. Synthetic imagination is, okay, I'm going to try all these factoring one goes with 999, one goes with 998, one goes with 555, right? We keep trying these different possibilities. We keep looking at the different sides of the Rubik's Cube, the different sides of the problem, and we spend time in our subconscious mind until it goes, and God shows us something through our spirit, something that we didn't see before. And then we can make those 1% adjustments to continue on, okay? If you're stuck, it's just a pattern, and patterns can be broken. You're not stuck because you're not a tree, okay? And understand, like, winning doesn't validate you, okay? Winning is not so that you can live up to something. You decide that you live up to your potential by the way that you attack life, by the way that you live with focus and focused attention every single day. You need to understand that accomplishments do not validate you. They're a cool thing, but you're on the cover of a magazine today, no one's going to care in 5 years. No one's going to care. In fact, no one's going to care you're Miss Nebraska in 5 years. I just had my 10-year anniversary. Who cares? Like, honestly, it was great. Like, it launched my career today. I learned a bunch of skills, but I'm not like wearing my high school letter jacket in college and at my 20-year reunion and my 30-year. Keep having accomplishments beyond that. Now, this is the thing that you're focused on now, and that's beautiful and that's great, but this is not validating you as worthy or successful. You have to be successful coming into it and then just show it. Just be it, okay? So, ending this tonight, a couple things. So, divine delay. Remember, Joseph went from the pit to the palace. Read Genesis 30 through 50 for this. He literally went from being the scum, like a borderline slave in prison, all the way to second in command of Pharaoh's army, okay? Moses, 40 years in the wilderness. Moses was supposed to be killed by Pharaoh. His mom put him in a basket, floated him down the river, and he became the prince of Egypt. And God's chosen one that was supposed to lead people into the promised land. David, he was actually by some standards considered a bastard child. He wasn't, but the rest of his, I believe, 11 brothers really treated him like an outcast. They were like, go hang out with the sheep. We don't really want to be seen with you. Your mom's different than our mom. She was a Moabite, I believe. And I just learned this recently, actually, when I was doing a deep dive of David. But he was weird. He was out singing songs, talking to animals all day. But he's the one that had the courage to slay Goliath and ran to him without fear when everyone else was like pooping their pants. And then he became the king. Boom, like that, when Saul disobeyed. And Samuel said, it's David. So your job is to be waiting in the wings, ready when God calls you up. That's your job. It says be ready in season and out of season. So what the mistake is that you allow your failures to start pouring into who you believe that you are. You can't do that. Even if no one's noticing you, even if no one's inviting you to speak, even if nobody's saying yes to you right now, have this mindset of, I'm getting ready, I'm getting ready, I'm getting ready, I'm getting ready. So that you can burst when it is your time, when you do get that invitation. And let me tell you, I've had some cool moments in my own life, just one yesterday, and I can't share it just in case somebody randomly listens to this and I don't want to ruin it. But I just got a text message from a celebrity yesterday who asked me to sing at something, and it's a complete honor, like out of nowhere. They heard me sing one time a couple of years ago, and I don't like post on Instagram. I don't do any of that. And I had not been on a stage. This is like at some random thing that they even heard me sing. And I hadn't been on a stage in 4 years, a couple years. And they randomly heard me sing like one time, and it wasn't even like serious. I don't want to give too many details. Anyways, I got a text message yesterday asking me to sing for a super important thing. And there's going to be a lot of important people there, and it's going to be an amazing opportunity. And that's because I stay ready. I stay ready 24/7. I stay full. The Bible says be being filled with the word of God, with faith. Okay? So you are responsible for that. And then let God take care of the rest. And what's meant for you is meant for you. Great things are coming to you. Your success, life is working through you. Life is working for you. And just because you have a failure along the way doesn't change the mission. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't actually mean anything unless you give meaning to it. Oh, I didn't win this local. Okay. And, right? You make it mean something way more than it actually means. And truth be told, outside of that, our pageant world, like no one even knew this pageant was happening, if we're being honest, and no one really cares. So again, can you still be effective in your community without a title? Yeah, people do it all the time. How do guys do it? Guys do it. They don't have a pageant sash, right? So we make things mean things. So go be effective. Go do what you want to do, crown or not, sash or not, and watch how success, because you are aligning with that level of what you would do as Miss Tennessee, Miss whatever anyway. Watch how things naturally start to work in your favor because you become congruent with the level of success that you want. That's it for today, guys. Love you all. Go to powerhousepageantry.com to see our brand new website, and powerhousepageantry.com/free course for a free course if you haven't gotten it yet. Lots of fun stuff coming down the pipeline. We'd love to help you guys win your pageant. It's crunch time for many of you guys, especially America, actually USA, volunteer, all y'all. Mrs. America, I'd be honored to help you. Go to sessions.powerhousepageantry.com/chat to book a strategy call with our team to see if we have a spot left in my academy before the end of this 2025 pageant year. All right, guys, enjoy the day. Bye.